Okay guys, Dan here from Hardwood Hollow Bushcraft and Tactical, bringing you a review of the Vargo Titanium Ultralite Triad stove. The entire stove is made of titanium, and I'll explain what the bottle cap is for here in a second. You can see it's got the single center hole for the fuel, and then the burn holes around the edge, and it has feet top and bottom. The feet on the bottom are of course feet. The feet on the top are pot holders, so you can actually cook directly on here with the right size pot. We're going to do a real quick boil test. I've got my heat fuel here. I have not even fired this thing up. Now, the purpose of the bottle cap here, which was recommended to me by my friend Jason, and his handle is TacticalBushcrafter, and he used a lid like this as the preheater underneath the stove. So what he would do is put a little bit of fuel in here and light it, set it underneath, and that would preheat the fuel and speed up the process of the fuel gasifying and burning correctly. So let's go ahead and add some fuel to it, and I better go grab my lighter just so I can light it up when we're ready. And we want to check how long it takes to boil, so we're going to get my phone out here and bring up the stopwatch. Okay, so we get the stop clock. That's going to be running once we get this started. So now what I'm going to do is, if you haven't seen it, I'd appreciate if you go back and watch my video on my bush stove. Again, Hardwood Hollow Bushcraft and Tactical, and what I intend on doing, because this is how I'm going to use it in the field, is I'm going to go ahead and set the stove down inside of here, so that I'm actually going to be putting it together this way, and I'll be setting my pot on top of that, and we're going to boil it that way, because that's how I'm going to use it in the field. I'm probably never going to just take that out and use it the way it is, so I might as well test it how I'm going to use it. So first things first, we're going to drop, well, let's give a little shot of heat to the cap here. Although I will say it's warm enough out here, I probably don't need this, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. And then we're going to go ahead and fuel up the stove, which you have to do it very small quantities because of that single hole. Probably one of those squirt bottles would be ideal for this, but I don't have one, so for the time being we're just going to do it old school. Get some of that crap off there, it'll probably pour better. There, that feels just about full. I'm estimating that was probably about 1 ounce. Let's go ahead and top this off. Now I want to do one thing. Since I spilled some fuel on my table, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off so it doesn't ignite. I'm going to get my Now it is burning. I can't see it, but I can hear it. There she goes. Get that within camera view here. Now it's bubbling up out of the center, but it's not fueling on coming out of the holes yet. It's not fully gasifying. But I reckon it won't take that long. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stabilizers in here for my stove. It is hot. I can smell singed hair from my thumb. And then we'll lay the grid across here. And that's already full gasifying. So I'm getting my full burn. So let's go ahead and set the pot on top. And start the stopwatch. And we'll see what it takes to get this thing bubbling off, burning off this stove here. We still got our heat? Oh yeah. That's probably about 2 cups of water in there. That water's already warm. Let's see what we get here. I think it's going to go quick. From the videos I've watched on these Vargo stoves, they're very efficient. The biggest complaint is a lack of ability to control the heat, such as you would get with a Trangia style stove. But I like the fact that it's very lightweight, and I just figure for the trips I'm going to carry it on, if I'm carrying it someplace where there's no open fires allowed, by containing it within my stove like this, my bush stove, I'm abiding by that law or that rule. And you know, if I'm up in California somewhere, then I should be fine. And oh, I can hear it. We're getting there. Okay, the side of the pot is hot enough that I can't keep my finger on it. So I figured we should have a full boil before too long, we should start hearing that lid bubble a little bit. Oop, I'm hearing poofing down there. Maybe I didn't get enough fuel in there. Maybe it burned out. I don't know. If it burned out, we're not going to get our boil. I was just estimating the amount of fuel. And I was actually just thinking a large syringe, like a marinating syringe, might be good for putting that fuel in there, because you can pop it right down in that hole and fill it right up. And plus, most of those syringes have measurements on the side, so you can tell how much you're putting in it. Let me double check and see if I got flame. Nope, I think I burned off my fuel. Well, we're going to go ahead and stop this test, but I'll let you see in there. There are bubbles down in that water. So it was getting there right close. I just ran out of fuel because it was, I just estimated how much to put in it. It's probably too hot for me to dump it in right now without having a problem. A lot of it will evaporate on contact. But, well, we were at 5 minutes, 13 seconds, and it was getting really close to a rolling boil. So I figure I probably would have had a rolling boil in the next minute or two. So I'm not going to try this again until it cools off, but for now I'm going to call that a success. I want to thank TacticalBushcrafter for his recommendation of using the little bottle cap underneath. Boy, it sped up the priming process and the gasifying process right quick. Remember, the heat in the yellow bottle is the recommended fuel. Alcohol fuel, due to the fact that it's probably the cleanest burning of the alcohol fuels out there. And it's sold in auto parts stores as gas line antifreeze. But it's the #1 recommended for these type of stoves because of how clean it burns. Alright. I might try this test again when I fill it up more and get the full amount of fuel in there that needs to be in there. But at, like I said, at 5 minutes and 14 seconds, it was just shy of a rolling boil. So I'll still call that a successful test. Maybe I'll reshoot it again and try it again later. All right. This is Dan, Hardwood Hollow Bushcraft and Tactical, reminding you, always practice proper firearm safety when you're outside or inside for that matter. And remember, better to be prepared today than to wish you were prepared tomorrow. This is Dan, Hardwood Hollow Bushcraft and Tactical. I'm out.
Storm clouds are building above the timberline. The lightning's flashing across the mountainside.